What's your take on AI being used for role-playing? Just curious, as not all of us have a group of friends to role-play stories with. I think that you should delete your account from my website and go outside and just keep walking until something grips you. You should get some real friends. Rate this fit? Yeah, I saw this one. Generational. Take a look at this. People are like, what's with your autistic special interest in clothing? Who cares? And then you see what happens. This is omnisegment shit, man. A fit like this would not have been possible in a world that that was not in a fallen state. Look at that, man. That's crazy. Actually, it looks like a clown fit. Yeah, for a lot of people, you know, if it wasn't for me doting you guys with the autism prior to this, I bet you'd look at this and go, what's the issue? You'd look at this, you'd be like, I don't need, what's the problem? Right-wingers really are disgusting. They are. They truly, no, genuinely, they are. Yeah, fucking revolting. He called for Gaza protesters to be arrested. Wow, how shocking. Like a rubber stamp for capital, does literally anything he's told to, will feign. This is, by the way, and maybe this makes it a little bit clearer. This is why I've said I would rather J.D. Vance win than Gavin Newsom. I genuinely think that a president like this is far more harmful to the country than J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance is openly odious and unpopular and would struggle to get a lot of his agenda implemented, but a guy like this would do effectively the same thing as J.D. Vance in a lot of respects, but would also massively disenfranchise Democratic voters, because a person like this, somebody who's openly this transparently insincere, is a reminder that our democracy is a sham. I think our democracy is done. I think it's failed. It's collapsed. It's over. It's a zombie democracy moving slowly, inexorably, and unavoidably towards its demise. What we're experiencing is rigor mortis of a corpse. The movement, the spasms are a biological, not even biological, a physical process. They're chemicals. Chemicals continue to move under the skin of the corpse. But there's no life. But the problem is that our best bet for resurrecting this corpse, for making something of the future, is for as many people as possible to delusionally believe that there's a point to all this. The worst case scenario would be for the average American to understand just how much of a sham this entire thing has been, and then to give up hope. Because most people don't have the knowledge or strength of character to continue to have hope, even after realizing how much of a sham it's been. People have to believe. Oh, speaking of psyops, did you see this one? Right-wing Twitter has been captivated with another caricature of a trans student activist, but this one's like really transparently fake. You seen this one? Like hyper fake, but it's still got millions and millions of views. Look at this. You ready for it? Hold on, I'm gonna turn the volume down in advance.
Stop mass jiggling me!
What's the problem?
Why do you let those kids get away with this? They are not supposed to be here!
If you don't lower your voice...
They don't even believe it's real? No, the K-Fab's been broken for a while. I think, right? Like, no one on either side of the aisle, Republican or Democrat, seems that, like, motivated to pretend that they believe their own propaganda anymore, it feels. Like, it's a weird mix of people fully drinking the Kool-Aid and buying into their own hype, and also people who are so dishonest that they can't even imagine themselves sincerely defending their dishonesty. Like, they're embarrassed by the extent of their own dishonesty. They don't want to feel like a person foolish enough to fall for the kind of propaganda they need to use to convince their demographic.
I am going to put handcuffs on you, and I'm going to take you to a Baker Act facility. You lower your voice.
Try it.
Are you threatening me? Can we get another unit to deal with Jay Lee here? He is having a breakdown.
Say! Just say the right pronoun!
What did you say?
7351.
I like how we have this like vertical camera phone that they're pretending is a body camera, but in order to like sell the image, he like holds like this is how you prepare pepper spray. Right, you put it right in front of the. Make sure everyone gets it real clear.
What did you say?
7351.
Get down.
FPS moment. Yeah, you got to get the reload in. I don't think this is fake though. It's fake. This is a fake video. All politics is fake. Your coverage of climate change is excellent, refreshing, and more rare by the day. It does make me feel a little bit crazy that I'm the only person who, like, even, okay, a lot of my advocacy gets kind of contrasted against Hasan's because we're both like, you know, big lefty content creators, right? So I look at a clip of Hasan, and Hasan is like, all right, everyone out there, go out and get the vote. Pokemon, go to the polls for this democratic socialist to win and mildly improve the character of the, you know, U.S. House. And then I go live, and I'm like, you know, bury your gold, learn how to siphon, you know, moisture from the atmosphere. Rain will never come again to the middle United States. Develop tornado-proof basement. Like, it makes me feel a little bit crazy. We're all gonna die, but that's okay. When El Nino swoops around, people are gonna be like, "Damn, he was cooking early. He was the only one brave enough to say it." Vaush mentioned this outfit. Looks like Andrew got it from the ladies section at Asda. I don't think this is actually the outfit that he caught, but it'd be pretty fucking funny if it was. It's pretty close. God, he looks like shit. No way that's real. I'm actually coming up on a big decision myself because I have a summer wedding that I'm going to go to, and the only suit jacket that I have, I mean, I'm not trying to be annoying with the fashion stuff or whatever, but legitimately the only suit jacket that I have, or the only blazer, the only sport jacket, is tweed. Wool tweed. I can't wear that to a summer wedding. It's going to be like 90 degrees. It would be ridiculous, genuinely. Like, I might as well show up in a fucking puffer jacket, you know? So I'm going to get a light, like, summer navy blazer, and I've been looking at some options from the anthology, and they have like 4 that I'm considering. This is a wool mohair one. It's got like a nice sheen to it, and I think it looks quite nice. There's got to be a fashion district in Seattle. There are no suiting retailers in Seattle that I considered adequate. So that's an option. There's also this linen cotton double-breasted one that looks quite nice, but I feel like this blue is a little bit less versatile. It's a bit of a lighter shade of navy. There's this basket weave one. Look at that. Can you see the basket weave texture? I think it looks quite nice. What would you consider adequate? But the quality of suiting in America is genuinely, like, despicably bad. Nobody wears good suits anymore. Like, the best place you can buy suits in Seattle is probably Suit Supply, and I'm not buying a fucking Suit Supply jacket. What does double-breasted mean in regards to suits? Double-breasted, as in it, when you button it, it buttons over itself. Here's a better example. See? The breast of the suit doubles over itself rather than just fixing to a single button point that connects the two. See? This is also a good option, though. This is less of a summer suit. See? I actually have these pants. I can't pull off double-breasted. I'm too slim. I don't think being slim means you can't pull off a double-breasted suit. This is such a good look, man. Oxford cloth button-down collar, double-breasted suit worn open with camo pants, and a tie that's untucked, so you can see both halves of it. Looks so fucking good. This is such a New York City fit. The camo pants are not for a wedding, though. No. For the wedding, I'd probably go for either this wool mohair featherweight blazer, which is unstructured except for the collar, or I would go with this basket weave one. The basket weave one is linen and interesting. I don't know how I feel about the basket weave texture, though. I feel like I would want to see more examples of it being worn so I can get more of a feel for it. Linen suit jacket. I don't know. I kind of like the sheen on the wool mohair one. Like, see, this. I feel like this sheen gives it a bit more versatility, but this one is unstructured. The only canvassing inside of it is in the collar right here for the good collar roll. But all this, like the body of the suit, is unstructured. It's $1,000 for a jacket, but I get it. Well, if it's going to be $1,000, I want to make sure I get the one that I want, you know? Is that cooler somehow? Yeah, it means there's less. It's more casual and more cool. Yeah. These are all sports jackets. There's also, like, suits, but I'm not in the market for a suit right now. I feel like these prices have gone down. feel like I remember this originally being 1,600. Now it's 1,280. Oh, it's 1,600 for both the suit and the jacket. I see. Can't rent a nice suit. Well, why wouldn't I want to own a nice suit? Also, it's cocktail attire. We're not wearing suits. Sports jacket is fine. Do you know if Buck Mason blazers are canvassed? I'm pretty sure they're partially canvassed. It depends on the exact one. Link the site. It's the Anthology. They're based out of Hong Kong. Buck Mason suiting. I'm pretty sure they are. Here's their Hollywood jacket, which I think looks quite nice. Is it canvassed? Hold on. Fit, new arrival. Description? Lightweight hemp twill for structure without weight. Design with front darts. Half-lined, half-canvas construction. Okay, gotcha. Half canvas. So this is fairly common. Worth noting, this one right here, the wool mohair, is only canvassed for the lapels. So the rest of it is uncanvassed, whereas the basket weave is fully canvassed. So this one's going to hold its structure. Canvassing is what allows a suit jacket to hold its structure. See right here? So see how this guy is leaning over right here? And even though his body's at an odd angle, the breast of this jacket is still holding kind of a rounded shape. See right here? This is because there is a springy horsehair layer inside of the suit that gives it a three-dimensional construction that it holds even at odder angles, whereas a fully unstructured suit will just crumple like a normal item of clothing. Is it good? Well, I mean, it's something suits are known for. Yeah, it's something people typically like about the traditional suit jacket, the fact that it holds its structure and has like a three-dimensional shape. What's the difference between a regular suit jacket and a cocktail jacket? Well, a cocktail refers to a kind of attire, not a kind of jacket. You mean a sport jacket. Sport jackets are less formal. They often have things like off-color buttons, like contrast buttons. They tend to be a little bit shorter, and they look good with unpaired pants, like orphaned pants. So notice here that this navy jacket is being worn with different pants. They're not being worn as a full suit. This would look a little bit off if it was being worn with the same color pants, I feel, because there's a difference in the formality. But if you take a look at suits, suits are meant to be worn as a whole item from top to bottom. See? The difference is small but subtle. You can wear orphaned suit trousers all you want. Like you could wear suit trousers with, you know, a t-shirt if you wanted to, if you knew what you were doing. In fact, an excellent example, hold on. I saw they have some wide leg trousers now. I think these look quite nice. See? These aren't necessarily suit trousers, but as you can see, these trousers look quite nice when paired with a wide variety of tops. No suit jacket necessary here. And in fact, at the bottom one here, yeah, he's just wearing it with a standard suede cotton polo. I think these look really good, personally. Anyway, basically nobody wears suits anymore, and it's not that kind of wedding. So I'm just looking for a sport jacket. I do think there's something a little bit appealing about this double-breasted one, but it's not even really a summer jacket. None of this is relevant? Well, I decide that. Lapel too peaky for me? It's a common detail with double-breasted jackets, a peak lapel rather than a notch lapel. This is the suit jacket that I already have. Not suit jacket, sorry. The sport jacket. As you can see, it's a heavy wool tweed. So wearing this in a summer wedding would be a good way to make sure that I'm a puddle of sweat midway through. I would look disgusting. My face would genuinely just be like a red, blotchy, like I would die. I like the light color one you showed. Oh, I'm going with a navy here. You mean this lighter navy double-breasted one right here? Or do you mean one of the other other colors? I do like the look of a double-breasted suit jacket, but it's a little bit more advanced. A single-breasted navy summer sport jacket is like a menswear staple. It's a very basic, simple item. What about a linen basket weave jacket like this? That's one of the ones that we were looking at. Oh, this one's brown. Yeah, no, I like this. I think a problem that I have with this is that I'm not really a fan. I do like this. This is the same basket weave construction as the navy suit jacket. Here you can see it in a more contrasty color. I personally do not like double-breasted suits that come down this far because I don't like how they accentuate the hip. I think they look good open, like as an open coat, but I'm not a big fan of how this looks personally. I would like it as a suit, but as a sport jacket, probably not. So like, I'm a fan of how this looks right here. It comes down quite long, but because it's a suit, it's elongated, right? Like, it does not look like a distinct long jacket. It looks like a continuous hole with the pants. So I would enjoy that like as a like a suit accompaniment, but I think for the context of wearing this as like a cocktail attire, I would much prefer it be a single-breasted one. What about sashiori type stuff? Uwe, quit with your fancy European bullshit. You know they ain't making suits like that. You know what I'm talking about. Insane that the world's fate all hangs on the CCP's ability to hold the dam and that they're the only one who predicted and prepared for this. Yep. And honestly, the craziest thing is the CCP didn't even do anything that miraculous. The big miracle of the Chinese Communist Party was the work that they did in lifting like 1 billion people out of poverty. In this respect, it is just them being like basically competent. Like they're like the literal just like basic governance stuff because they're the only ones interested in it anymore, it seems. Really, really embarrassing for the West. I've always wondered if the aversion of a part of the left towards engaging in electoralism and winning also stems from their own self-doubts about whether their policies would actually work. Oh, 100, absolutely 100%, absolutely. It's easy for centrist Democrats because they don't get anything done anyway, and the bar is set super low for them. But if you are promising to really fix things, yeah, actually being put in a position where you have the opportunity to get that stuff done, it's a lot of pressure, you know? And I understand people's aversion, but it's worth remembering. The left isn't cool. The left isn't good. The left isn't right because we have the most moral positions. We do, but that's not why we're the best. We're the best because our positions are correct. Moral rightness in practice politically, like in its affected through policy, is only really as useful as the effectiveness of the policy that's being channeled through. Being right, like morally, having the good positions morally, having defensible positions is important, of course, but if you don't have a practical way of affecting it, there's not really much of a not much of a point. There's a reason the powers that be didn't want Mamdani to win, and there's a reason why he's so popular right now. What's up? What the heck is that? I got some fluff in my beard. Yes, I do. Been known to happen. Hello, hello. Your beard is slowly becoming an ecosystem for things. No. I reject this characterization for the same reason that I reject the characterization that body hair is unhygienic. Okay? The idea that having a beard is disgusting, to me, I find this morally reprehensible, okay? It leads down a whole bunch of bad roads. You know, every time on stream, the conversation of, like, body hair is not unhygienic has come up. There are people in chat unironically arguing that it is. Like, it's with armpit hair or whatever, and there are people in chat who are like, well, no, like, it is dirty or whatever. It's like, damn, they got you. They got your ass by the balls. They got you by your ball ass. You have trillions of skin mites in your face, whether you have a beard or not. Yeah, but shaving irritates the skin and creates a microbiome that's perfect for bacteria. When you shave your armpits, you're creating an environment that is better for the bacteria. If you have armpit hair, it creates a buffer that allows air to move through, and it makes your armpit less moist. But when you shave it, it's just skin on skin, and it rubs and it irritates and it creates a bacteria-rich environment, which is what smells, so it makes it more likely that it will smell bad. If you want to shave your armpit hair, that's fine, but like the anti-body hair propaganda has to stop. Why does it smell worse with armpit hair? It doesn't. It doesn't. That's not real. It's not a real thing. I mean, it feels like it does. I don't know why I'm arguing with you virgins. The final conclusion to this storyline, remember this one? At the Appalachia High School in Georgia, there was a school shooter who was given a firearm by his dad. We were talking about how the parents absolutely deserve to be in jail because they ignored every warning sign and just like were just like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a fuck if my kid has a gun. When was this? 2024? Yeah, 2024. Now precedent across multiple states like Michigan, now Georgia. Good. I think that, like, we have enabled an absolutely insane environment where nobody but the parent is allowed to teach the kid. Like, it's pedophilic if your teacher so much as gives one bit of advice to a child, like in a difficult life moment. But at the same time, parents are completely free from consequence or like legal or social consequence for doing a terrible job being a parent. It's absolutely insane. You can't have it both ways. Either you defer the socialization of children to the way it's always been historically, which is a collective, like, village attitude where everyone involved in the child's life, whether that be the immediate family or the extended family and the teachers and so on, like, everyone tries their best to, like, make sure kids, you know, grow up all right, and you kind of defer the responsibility broadly. Or you do this insane modern post-World War II nuclear parent thing where you say that the entirety of a child's, like, first 18 years has to be controlled by the whims of two people who are both busy with a job. But if that's the road you're going down, your ass has to be going to jail if your kid is like, kill them all, the voices tell me to kill them all, and you're like, go get them, son. Tosses them a Glock, you know? Parents also need to get off their damn phones. Well, the damn phones are the reason why no one's a parent, you know, as we all know. People are like, I don't have time to be a parent. I've got fucking Candy Crush levels to beat. I've got to do my dailies. I can't be a parent. I have to do my dailies. I'm keeping up with 7 gacha games. I don't have time to be a parent. You're weak and your bloodline is, your bloodline's being halted at this generation. My 50-plus-year-old mom scrolls YouTube Shorts and Insta Reels so much it's crazy. It's pretty grim. It's pretty grim. It's not great. I have family who won't take their children to school because it's too hard. What the fuck does that mean? Wait, because school's too hard or because driving them to school is too hard? What are you talking about? That's insane. You know what? No, it's fine. It's fine. We need to move on. My mom does that shit? Okay, bucko. Okay. Democrats who receive AIPAC money are most likely to do the worst against potential Republican opponents or Democrats who oppose all corporate funding. Damn. Look at how low AIPAC is down here. That's crazy, man. Who could have known that AIPAC might have a bias for selecting candidates that are ineffective, considering the fact that AIPAC doesn't mind Republicans winning? And in fact, probably prefers it, by and large. Yeah. Is there a way to outlaw AIPAC? Yeah, sure. I mean, at the very least, I think that they should be subject to the laws binding, foreign influence, foreign special interest groups. Technically AIPAC is an American PAC, but like let's be so fucking for real here, okay? Like if the Saudi Emiratis bought up a bunch of influence in America, and then you had a bunch of Americans just explicitly advocating in favor of pro-Saudi shit or whatever, like, come on. It's using American citizens as a proxy for interests that entirely favor Israel. When has AIPAC ever done anything for us? Why is AIPAC still a thing if they're seemingly so ineffective at this point on their money/doing shit ratio? Because AIPAC has been effective up until this point. This is the first time AIPAC has really lost. AIPAC has had an overwhelming amount of bipartisan influence for decades and decades and decades. They've marched across this country like giants. This is the first time there's been real pushback. Did you hear about the attack on Berlin Pride? I'm really worried the Nazis are going to win the September election now. I don't think the attack on Berlin Pride is more likely to allow the AfD to win, but if it makes you feel any better, the AfD isn't meaningfully any more extreme than like the Republican Party. The AfD might pretend to be more extreme, but in reality, like every other fascist party in the West right now, they're utterly captured by capital. They're captured by Israel. They're captured by capital. They don't have the social momentum necessary to like dispel the other incentive structures and realign everyone under the apparatus of like an ethno-nationalist state. Not to say they're not bad. They are very bad. But I'm just saying, like, remember that they are going to be bound by the same chains as America or Italy when it comes to fascist governance. At a global health summit the other day, discussing AIDS, the United States showed up with a map mislabeling every African nation. Just popped that shit out of ChatGPT. Hallucinated the entire goddamn continent. Current APS funding opportunities. Well, Nigeria, up to 20 awards, up to 200 million. I like how the Nigeria line's not even pointing to the block of color they're claiming is Nigeria. Mozambique, Uganda, great. Cote d'Ivoire, Malawi. This one's not even pointing to, look at this. No one even looked at this after they prompted it. They were just like, yep, it's an Africa conference for blacks. Who cares? Just pop that shit out. Who cares? They aren't even the right shapes. I mean, yeah, it's AI. They just didn't even. Numbers are probably wrong too. It's literally all made up. They don't. It's like it's so fucking like the people in our administration are so racist. They literally don't like. They were just like, it doesn't matter. Let's just show up, just fake all of it. Who cares? You know? Because it's Africa. They don't care. They fucking hate black people. U.S. Health Envoy Jeff Graham unveiled the slide while outlining new international health agreements. Conference attendees quickly captured screenshots of the flawed graphics. It's so embarrassing. Images widely circulated across professional networks and policy platforms. OpenAI software. Washington attributed the error to a staff member who allegedly modified the presentation deck at the last minute. Yeah, no. Nah, no. Oh, yeah, some anonymous saboteur inserted the wrong slide. No, just no one cared at any point. Graham, who manages the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief, declined to provide a statement. Oh, God. No wonder we're losing to Iran. Some of us really need to get on it with African pronunciations. It's 2026. If we can pronounce Liechtenstein correctly, you can do the same for Côte d'Ivoire. I reject that. Liechtenstein is much easier to pronounce than Côte d'Ivoire, in part because Liechtenstein is how we encounter that country. Like, that's how it's named. But the Ivory Coast is what we call it in English. I don't know how to fucking pronounce French. It's in English, we say Liechtenstein, and we say Ivory Coast. Trying to fucking race bait me into learning French. Piece of shit. Côte d'Ivoire. Ivory Coast. They're trying to call me anti-black for not knowing French. I can't believe these people. How can you not know the French pronunciation of a country only called that in France, but in English we call it the Ivory Coast, which is the direct translation of it. They're trying to call me anti-black for not knowing French. Buddy, I'm pro-black for not knowing French. You know what the French done to black people? I don't want to hear it. Who linked this? I think this was Kowalski.
And I was able to see one sign that says Alexandria, but I had no idea whether it's Alexandria, Florida, Alexandria, Mississippi, Alexandria, no idea at all.
With his help, we traced Della Valle's Odyssey through the deportation system. From the U.S. Virgin Islands, ICE flew him to Puerto Rico, then Miami, then bussed him to the Chrome Detention Center outside Miami, then flew him to Alexandria, then back to South Florida and Broward County's Transitional Center, then a
new Odyssey ad.
Ride to Alligator Alcatraz in the middle of Florida.
They failed to mention that ICE angered Poseidon by firing an arrow at the Cyclops on his way out. This is, unironically, it's one of the things keeping a lot of people from deportation. Like the rest of the federal government, ICE exists only to transfer taxpayer dollars to private companies. Every time ICE uses a plane, every time they use equipment, all of that is just money going to corporations. So they actually benefit internally from wasting as much time and money as possible. It's actually preventing them from doing the fascism right. Like, Hitler was able to mobilize the country into a massive war machine, in part because he was able to subjugate the capital interests of the corporations in Germany towards the interests of the state. Well, not the interest of the state, but towards the interests of the state through Hitler, I suppose. But America can't do that because we're utterly deferential to capital. Absolutely 100% deferential to capital.
Florida. After Alligator Alcatraz, ICE sent Carlos back to Chrome near Miami, then up to Broward County, and then to Pompano Beach. A flight to Jacksonville, then a bus ride to Orlando, then back to Baker Correctional Center in North Florida. Then a flight back to Alexandria and a bus ride to Wynn Correctional. Then a flight out of Alexandria to Port Isabel in Texas and to the border in Brownsville.
And I hope this guy's like racking up frequent flyer miles. Jesus Christ.
Thinking he was being deported, Carlos ended up back on a flight to El Paso, then another flight back to Alexandria, and a bus ride back to Wynn Correctional. One man's experience that we estimated cost taxpayers more than $200,000.
Job well done. Literally the whole point. Yep.
In bus and airplane fuel, personnel expenses, pilot cost, and landing and fuel fee.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's the whole point. We could do this whole MAGA bit. It's like I'm blanking. What's the name of the book with the city that's a utopia, but it's powered on the suffering of one child? We could do all of MAGA off of this one migrant. Omelas, thank you. This guy's our Omelas. We could all of MAGA's xenophobic ambitions can be fulfilled with the constant deportation, re-importation, and deportation of one guy. We just need to fly that. We need to like dust off a Concorde and just send this guy all over the world. Fascists would be satisfied if we could just make one brown guy feel inconvenienced for the rest of his life. That's like enough key jangling. Why don't they pay migrants $100K to fuck off? Because they don't care about getting rid of migrants. They care about giving money to corporations. Giving a migrant $100,000 would just give money to a random poor brown person. They don't want that. Oh yeah, this isn't surprising to me. Supporting trans people in sports or whatever is considered a pretty marginal position in Democrats. I wouldn't expect somebody running for Ohio governor to endorse it. Still bad, obviously. As far as I'm concerned, if you genuinely have a problem with like trans women playing high school sports with the women or whatever, you're a retard. I don't really get like you're not gonna make me endorse an incorrect position just because it's popular. She called trans girls men? Well, that's rude. What? Where'd she say that? I do not support boys playing in girls' sports. Okay, she said boys. I mean, that's obviously still bad. It's just, I feel like men would have been especially out of pocket. Settled law in Ohio. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, pretty disappointing. But also kind of expected. It gets worse somehow. Dem Ohio governor candidate Amy Acton scheduled a meeting with LGBTQ plus activists, didn't show up, and then kicked out trans people who did. What? Did a little loop-de-loop on them, huh? Gathered them all in a room and then hit the button? The Ohio Democratic Party forced its own progressive and pride caucuses to delete their criticism, and a meeting the campaign promised would begin repairing the damage instead flamed further tensions. Inside sources who have gone public now say the listening session was a debacle. Acton did not show up. Her campaign manager barred Ariane Childrey, vice chair of the President's Pride Caucus, a transgender candidate for the Ohio House and Ohio's first openly trans city council member, from even entering the Zoom call. Damn. Okay, yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty fucking crazy. I wouldn't expect a Democratic Ohio gubernatorial candidate to oppose laws banning trans students from playing sports with their chosen gender classmates, but this is like pretty out there, man. It's her versus Vivek. Well, Ohio is going to remain a shithole no matter what. So she's a TERF? No, she's just a transphobe. I mean, she might be a TERF, but all this just means she's transphobic. You all just think TERF is when a person's transphobic but a woman. Look, man, I live here. If we're going to have a chance of turning Ohio around, we got to start somewhere. Yeah, no, I would still obviously support her over Vivek, mostly because I have incredibly low standards for Ohio. It's basically a backwater shithole no matter who wins over there. So, like, it's really more about the flex of beating a Republican. I don't really expect there to be a... how do I put this? I don't think that her winning and being transphobic contributes to the disenfranchisement of voters as they feel apathetic about the outcomes of their voting. The average Ohioan is probably about this anti-queer. So the arguments that I've made with regard to like J.D. Vance and Graham Plattner don't really apply. Obviously, she's still a piece of shit. Criticize her all you want, but I still want her to win over Vivek. According to notes obtained from a source who attended the meeting, the session opened with a blow. Dwayne Stewart of Equality Ohio, reading what appeared to be a prepared statement, announced the organization was rescinding Acton's A rating on its LGBTQ plus candidate scorecard. Okay. From there, the meeting devolved. Multiple attendees demanded to know why children had been barred from an event about the LGBTQ plus community. Campaign manager Philip Stein responded the meeting was mostly a space we want to listen to the folks we've picked here. Okay, just like totally blew them off. Attendee after attendee demanded Acton apologize for calling trans girls boys. Why didn't Acton show up? Yeah, just overwhelming contempt here. Overwhelming contempt here. The political math of Acton's position doesn't add up. Republicans aren't going to reward her for baseline levels of transphobia. Yeah, that's true. There might be a bit of a shift among independents, unfortunately. Again, Ohio's kind of a shithole, but yeah, I don't really know. I don't know.
The truth of the matter is, no matter what happens in whichever direction we go, people of my generation have already made it. We're going to be fine. It's going to be your generation that pays the price.
You're a political cretin, and you need to get the fuck out of here.
Holy shit, they fucking hate him. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Holy shit, that's so fucking funny, dog. There's no way he's winning his race. God damn. Is that Vivek? Yeah, I don't really understand why you would talk to young Republicans as Vivek, because for one, like, Vivek's 40 years old. People at his age range are not all gonna make it. And for two, every young Republican is a neo-Nazi. Like his name is Vivek Ramaswamy. Just a crazy poll there. Hegseth looks and acts like the stereotypical husband of the 50s that abuses his wife for not having dinner ready while clutching a glass of scotch in the other hand. I actually disagree. I really think that Hegseth's psychopathy is very visible and would actually be considered socially unacceptable back then. Like, people were more misogynistic back in the 1950s, but it was considered socially unacceptable to demonstrate that misogyny with like an open contempt. It was much more common to be like paternalistically sexist, whereas modern malicious, like active, aggressive, not just condescending, but like violent misogyny, I think is popularized through like the Tate brothers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I really think that if you put Hegseth back then, he would be like a freak to them. The performative incuriosity with my being trans is wild. Like the amount of talking in circles they do to avoid asking. I'd rather they just call me a slur and walk away, lol. Yeah, I agree. I think that like, look, to most people, like, I guess I'd call them normal people within a non-normative sense, but I mean normal in terms of like adheres to common understandings of issues. Trans people are going to be pretty weird. It is weird to be trans. Not a normative judgment. It just is. It's less common, you know? It's not just less common. It's less common and like challenging to a whole bunch of normative sentiments. Like, it's not like, you know what else is less common? Red hair. But you see red hair and it's like, oh, red hair. Okay, I get that. But transness is like represents a challenge to a whole bunch of normative values, which means that like, it's weird to a lot of people, you know? I think that when things are weird, it's okay to ask questions. I've always argued that like, understanding is a core element of inclusivity. So you must understand, and to understand, you have to be curious. You have to ask questions. It's really, really, really important to do that. You know. I found the new style inspo. I've always hated the fact that very muscular people tend to dress poorly, and their excuse is that they can't fit in clothes that fit them properly. Take a look at this guy. That is a good fucking fit right there, huh? Look at that. What a phenomenal... The more your body type deviates from the norm, the harder it is to get off-the-rack clothing that fits you properly, especially suits. Look at that. Sleeper build? I don't really think it's a sleeper build. You can tell his shoulders are super broad. Like, look at how far out his shoulder line comes from his hips. That's how you can tell. His hip is like right here where my mouse point is, and his shoulder is out fucking here. So you can tell. If you understand proportions, you can tell. But look at him. So often muscular men dress badly, but this guy does such a phenomenal job using his build as a springboard off of which to build classical proportions. Like, he's using his musculature to accentuate the traditional proportions rather than as an excuse why he shouldn't follow them. Look at that, man. Less sleeper. Slightly less of a sleeper build on this one, you know? You might get a slight inclination when looking at him that he's fit, you know? God, he looks so good. I need to get onto a fashion arc. Oh, yeah. What's that rapist name? O'Connor or something? The guy who got bodied recently? Rapist Irish guy? McGregor. It's just a great example of why it's... Because so many muscular guys suit up like this and just look disgusting. This is a real sleeper build. He dresses so poorly, you can't even tell he's insanely ripped under there. Look at that. He pays like tens of thousands of dollars for these custom suits. Like all conservatives, he has no sense of taste because he hates Western traditions. He looks like this in every single suit that he wears, by the way. Like all of them. Hasan's been doing a really good job with the suits lately. Genuinely, he's really, really upped his game. Does anybody know where he's getting them from? Has he said, like, he has a preferred shirt tailor or suit maker? Anyone of his size is probably going to be getting custom... I mean, he has money, too. More money than I do, certainly. He's probably getting custom suits. He's a tailor in LA. He's not getting these, like, proper cloth shirts or whatever. Oh, speaking of suit jackets, have you guys... I only briefly showed it. Have you seen the anthology jacket? Hold on. It's not going to look that good with what I'm wearing right now. But it's a basket weave. See, look how light that is. It's a summer basket weave linen jacket. Still need to have the sleeves finished. But it fits me pretty good, see? But yeah, I wouldn't wear it over a navy camp collar shirt. You've already showed it still looks good. A jacket does good things for your traps. Well, the whole point of a canvas suit jacket is that it has a structure. You know, it's the slope. You can see from the silhouette. Like, look, I'm not a skinny guy, you know? But the whole point is that a constructed silhouette from a suit jacket. See? Now you have broad shoulders, narrow waist. You wear these with some high-waisted trousers, a nice shirt. Accentuating masculine proportions. Consider adding shoulder pads. Well, any canvas suit is going to have some degree of shoulder padding. There's horsehair underneath this, which is not actually made of horsehair, but that's what it's called. And it constructs a silhouette on its own. Man, I really wish... Hold on. The basket weave doesn't show up that much because I'm sitting in a dark room. Isn't that a neat texture? I like it because it contributes to how casual the jacket is, despite being a navy sport jacket, which is a relatively conservative color. In fact, navy is the most conservative color, second only to black. Maybe charcoal gray. I don't know. It's a more casual jacket because of its construction. Very nice, very nice. I still haven't worn this with trousers. I need to wear this with trousers and a suit to get a feel for the proportions. So everyone take care, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.